So you've decided it's time to get published. Congratulations. An important step in your journey is to decide how you are going to get published. Which publishing path is the right one for you? In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 paths to publishing and provide a comparison guide so you can make a choice that's right for you, a choice that supports you, your book, and your goals for becoming an author. There are 3 paths you can take in order to get published: traditional publishing, hybrid publishing, and independent or self-publishing. In this guide, I will describe each option, discuss its financial model, explain the process, and finally, note the benefits as well as some of the downsides that you'll want to consider when making a decision. Traditional publishing is what most people think of when they think about publishing. It's the most established and it's been around the longest. And up until about 20 years ago, traditional publishing was the only viable option. There is what's known in the industry as the Big Five. Each of these big publishing companies will have several divisions with hundreds of imprints under them. Along with the Big Five, there are also many mid-sized or smaller publishers that follow the traditional model. Academic and educational or textbook publishers, they are also traditional publishers. Traditional publishers typically work with literary agents. An agent represents the author, often connecting the author with the publisher and negotiating the deal. It's important to know that a traditional publisher is identified by their financial model. Hybrid publishers combine some aspects of traditional publishing with some aspects of the self or independent model, hence the term hybrid publishing. They behave in many respects like traditional publishers, with the exception of their financial model. Hybrid publishers use the author-subsidized financial model of self-publishing. There are very large and well-established hybrid publishers and small, brand new ones and everything in between. Hybrid publishers will typically have a defined vision and mission. They will focus on a specific genre or type of book or a specific type of audience. For example, some hybrid publishers focus on publishing faith-based books, others on parenting books or children's books, and others on poetry books or business books. You get the idea. At the other end of the spectrum from traditional publishing is independent or self-publishing. What is the difference between the two? Here's how I define it. When you self-publish, you're publishing under your own name. Any income you receive is reported under your Social Security number, at least if you're living in the United States. When you publish independently, you are still publishing yourself, but you have taken the additional step of creating a business entity with its own name and tax number. When you publish independently, income is then reported under the business tax number, the EIN. Again, this is if you're living in the United States. So you have 2 choices. You can self-publish simply under your name, or you can be more sophisticated and create your own small publishing imprint. If you are a business owner with an existing business entity, your business can become the publisher for your book. Then, not only do you keep all of the rights and the profits, but your book becomes part of the intellectual property of your business. This is a big part of what we do at Publishing Partner. We set you up as your own small publisher. The important thing to know is that whether you are publishing independently or self-publishing, it's your show. You are in charge. You manage the process, and you or your business benefits from all the advantages. The financial model covers how costs and revenue are split. A traditional publisher buys the rights to publish your story or work. This is important to understand. With this model, the author assigns the rights and copyrights to the publisher for the duration of the copyright, which is somewhere in the vicinity of 95 years. The publisher then invests all the costs and the work and the time into the production and printing and distribution of the book. Typically, the author receives an advance, and they also get royalties. How much depends on the publisher. Royalties typically equal a percentage of the book sale, somewhere between 5 to 10%. Often, royalties don't kick in until you've earned out the advance, and many books never earn out their advance. Agents typically get somewhere around 15% of the author's advance and royalties. So the publisher makes money from the profits on the book sales. Thus, publishers choose books that they believe will be commercially successful. A hybrid publisher operates with a collaborative financial model. The author invests upfront, and the publisher also invests upfront. The amount of investment required by the author varies significantly from publisher to publisher. And the publisher's upfront investment is typically the time, talent, systems, and structure that they've set up. Then, the author and publisher share the proceeds from the sale of the book. In exchange for an author's personal upfront investment, hybrid publishers will pay their authors more than the industry standard royalty. The author's share of the royalties will typically be 50% or more of the net profits. The financial model for independent publishing is very simple. As an author, you invest 100%. You also reap 100% net on all book sales. As the author, you can choose the level of support you need and the type of support. While you technically can do everything on your own, you won't create a quality book that way, and I don't recommend going it alone. So there are two main ways you can get the support you need. Number one, find and hire individual professionals to help you, or two, hire an author services company to handle and oversee all aspects of the production. If you hire individual professionals like a writing coach, an editor, a designer, an ebook formatter, and so on, you will take on the role of project manager and everything that entails. Or you might hire an author services company. Sometimes they're called publishing service companies. You can save yourself a lot of time and hassle, and more importantly, end up with a much better book if you hire a good author services company. And this is what we do at Publishing Partner. Now we'll talk about the process of getting published. How does your book go from manuscript to bookshelf? In the traditional model, first an author will write a book proposal. This sells the idea of your book to a publisher. Then you get an agent if you don't already have one. The agent shops the book proposal around to publishers to find one that's interested. Once that happens, the agent negotiates the publishing deal. The author then writes the book and delivers it to the publisher. The publisher then produces and distributes the book and provides marketing and publicity support, especially during the launch period. With the hybrid model, you usually write the book first, submit it to a hybrid publisher, and a hybrid publisher will, or they should, only accept a book that is in line with their mission and values. Then the book is produced and distributed. The hybrid publisher handles all of this. And a hybrid publisher typically provides some marketing support. When you're publishing independently, you will write the book, hire support services as needed, produce the book, and if you hire a good author services company, they will handle the production for you. If you are hiring individual professionals, you will be the one running the production. Then you publish the book. Typically, independent or self-publishers will take advantage of the print-on-demand services that are available. A print-on-demand service makes your book available for purchase online, and whenever a customer buys a book, the print-on-demand service will print and ship a copy of the book to the customer. You don't have to handle any fulfillment of books that customers buy. And as the author, you will also be able to purchase books at cost from the print-on-demand service. Finally, you'll market the book. So let's go into the benefits. What are the advantages of each model? In the traditional model, who doesn't want to get paid to write their book, right? This is the only publishing option where there are no out-of-pocket costs for the author. The journey to getting a book deal can be long and difficult. So if your book is chosen by a publisher, that validation of you, your story, or your writing can be deeply meaningful. You will also get the greatest reach if you publish traditionally, because they have existing distribution arrangements with bookstores and booksellers across the globe. Traditional publishing can also be a good choice if your book is the sort that would lend itself to being turned into a movie, or if a line of products could be created from it. Traditional publishers are set up to provide significant marketing support to their authors. There are a host of marketing-related things that a publisher can handle because they have systems set up and connections for it, and people whose job it is to do these kinds of things. When done right, publishing with a good hybrid publisher can give you a best of experience. The professionalism of a traditional publisher combined with the flexibility that comes with independent or self-publishing. If you choose a hybrid publisher who focuses on the genre of the book you're writing or the audience you're writing for, ideally they will have already worked to build an audience of people that are interested in that type of book. Thus, you could gain access to a larger audience than you may be capable of reaching on your own. There's also a certain legitimacy that can be gained from publishing with a hybrid publisher. You'll be able to say that you're published by XYZ hybrid publisher. Now, you could create the same effect by creating your own imprint, but when you work with a hybrid publisher, they've already done all the heavy lifting. They've already done all of that. Hybrid publishers maintain a certain standard of professionalism and are typically set up to provide some marketing support. How much depends entirely on the publisher, but there is always some support. In the best cases, they will have connections that you don't that will assist your reach and support your visibility. Now, when you're publishing independently, you have the flexibility and freedom to create exactly the type of book you want. You also have the ability to control the experience you want to have. You can publish what you want, when you want it, and how you want it done. You have full creative freedom, and you don't have to get through any gatekeepers or adapt or change to conform to someone else's ideas or what they believe will work. In addition, you have control over time to market. You can publish independently quite quickly, especially if you hire the right team. Or you can take as long as you need if you want or need extra time in order to accommodate whatever else is going on in your life. Publishing independently can give you a lot of business leverage. If you have an existing business, a book is something that can support that business, creating more visibility, giving you more credibility, and creating opportunities that bring in additional revenue. A huge benefit of independent and self-publishing is that you retain full rights and ownership of your book. This is the only publishing option in which you get to keep your publishing rights and you aren't assigning them to a publisher. Endless marketing and sales opportunities is another benefit. You can get really creative when customizing marketing and promotion activities for your book. You don't have to be locked into what a publishing company's vision or budget is. You can also be very flexible when it comes to sales options. You can create your own marketing and sales vision, and you can implement that vision in hundreds of different creative ways that are in alignment with your needs, your expertise, your vision, and your values. So now we'll talk about the challenges or some of the downsides to consider. The traditional book publishing industry is well known for its gatekeepers. If you don't have access to the relationships or connections that get you in the door, or if you don't have the type of story that the gatekeepers are looking for, or unfortunately, if you're not the kind of person they're looking for, it can be difficult or impossible to get a deal. The publisher has to believe that they can make money off of your book. So they are looking for books that will have wide readership and be commercially viable. This puts constraints around the types of authors and books they acquire. Publishers do care about the size of a potential author's existing platform. A platform is a ready-made potential readership, a group of people that the author already connects with. If you have a large author platform, it will be easier to get a traditional publishing deal. Publishers will have their own time frames and schedules. If you get a book deal, you will be working on their schedule and time frame. They will not be working on yours. And the amount of time between when you get the book deal to when your book is published can be in the vicinity of 18 months to 2, and in some cases, maybe 3 years. Traditional publishers do take some creative control. Things like titles and covers will most often be determined by the publisher. You'll have little control over marketing angles and how your book is positioned and presented to the public. With the hybrid model, you will need to determine if the hybrid publisher you're considering is a reputable one. There are some bad actors in this arena, so do your research and due diligence and ask questions. What does their distribution look like? Is it better than what you would get publishing independently? Can they demonstrate good sales? Do they have a good standard of production quality? You want to choose them as carefully as they choose you. You also need to understand upfront all the aspects of how their financial arrangement works, so you can determine if your investment is worth the reward. Does the arrangement give you enough in return to warrant your financial investment and assignment of rights? You want to determine that they're a solid company and unlikely to dissolve or go bankrupt and leave you with an unpublished book and no easy way to get the rights back. And watch out for companies that take advantage of author inexperience and use high-pressure sales tactics. Ultimately, you are looking for a win-win situation. The best fit is a good partnership where you are bringing something important to the table and so is the hybrid publisher, and you are both benefiting from the arrangement. So when it comes to independent or self-publishing, I'm going to be candid and tell you that most of the factors to consider that are listed here really only apply when you take on the role of project management and hire individual professionals. If you hire a good author services company, like Publishing Partner, we handle all of this, so you don't have to worry about any of it. Hiring a good team eliminates the majority of these downsides. But if you plan to step into the role of project manager and hire individual professionals, this is what you want to consider. If you're new to the industry, you may find it difficult to evaluate a professional's level of skill and competence. And most of us have trouble evaluating our own work and what it needs. So an aspiring author may think their manuscript is ready for copy editing or proofreading when in fact the book needs more developmental work. And while you're in control of the time to market, you may run into trouble accurately estimating the work and time involved in getting your book print ready. You will need to factor in your own learning curve. You'll need to factor in time to solve the problems that arise. And trust me, after decades of doing this type of work, I can tell you that you will run into problems. Things never go entirely according to plan. You'll end up juggling your own time frame and schedule as well as those of the individual professionals you've hired. It could be far more work than you expected, take far longer to finish, and you could end up frustrated and frazzled when you're finally done, and that is really not the energy you want to be in when you launch a book. Another point to consider is that some author service companies boost their profits by moving a volume of books through their process as quickly as possible. They might have a great sales team, but be lacking when it comes to execution. Or their process is very automated and not flexible enough to accommodate a book or an author with unique needs. You could end up being tossed around from person to person and experience a lack of cohesion in the process. So all of that to say, choose your individuals or team wisely, or save yourself all that trouble and just choose us. Finally, it is more difficult. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult to get mainstream reviews, media attention, or sales through the conventional distribution channels like bookstores and libraries when you publish independently. At this point, you might be wondering, which option should I choose? Well, I can't answer that for you, but I can give you some questions to ask yourself. What does success as an author look like to you? How do you personally define success as an author? What is it you want to achieve from becoming an author? What are the outcomes you want to see from getting published? Your answers to these kinds of questions will guide you toward the publishing option that's best for you. While this is a very personal choice, I will give you some broad recommendations that I hope will help you on your way. Traditional publishing is a good option for the exceptional writer, a blockbuster story, a story or work on a topic that's trending, and someone with a large platform. With hybrid publishing, it's a good fit for someone with a book in a genre that fits the hybrid publisher's mission, an author needing access to a larger audience than they could reach on their own that the hybrid publisher has already developed, an author looking for the legitimacy that a hybrid publisher can provide. The independent or self-publishing model can be a good choice for the professional or business owner looking to leverage their business, their career, or their body of work. An individual or story or work that's not mainstream. Someone who's all about agency and really cares about hanging on to and building upon their intellectual property. It's also a good choice for a prolific writer, especially of serialized fiction. So if you're interested in independent publishing and curious about working with Publishing Partner, let's set up a chat, a no strings attached call. You can tell me about your book project and I can answer questions about what it's like to work with us. And if you haven't yet, be sure to go to publishingpartner.com to get your own free copy of this guide. And if you choose another publishing path, I wish you all the best in your journey. I hope this video and the guide have given you the information you need to make the best decision for yourself. If you are considering self-publishing or the independent publishing option, we want to be your publishing partner. Why should you choose us? Well, we make it easy for you. We are a one-stop shop. We bring the expertise, the experience, the systems, and the team to the table so that you can get from manuscript to finished book easily and effectively. We can handle the production of any type of project, print book, ebook, children's book, art book, audiobook, you name it, we can do it. Also, we care. We love reading books, we love making books, we love our clients, and we love the book projects we get to work on. We also provide custom personalized service. We can accommodate the unique needs of our authors and their books. We are all about custom solutions, not a cookie cutter approach. Finally, we value quality. We produce quality books, both quality presentation and quality content. Our books look every bit as good as a book you would pull off the shelf at a bookstore. We have successfully supported 117 authors in getting their book published. We have a total of 186 happy authors, and we've produced several award-winning books and executed over 50 Amazon bestseller campaigns. And these numbers are constantly going up as authors finish their projects and get published. So let's stay connected. You can follow Publishing Partner on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so you can connect with us over there. And I'm going to sign off now by reminding you, keep reading, keep writing, and never forget the power of the written word.